Hello everyone and welcome back to some more Dark Souls 3 focused PvP. So, people have been asking if these are actually replacing the weapon showcases. No. No, they most certainly are not. I'm just making sure that you guys are getting some decent content with these, and reason for it that I'm not doing the weapon showcases at the moment, I want to get weapons and actually showcase something I feel like showcasing. I want to get everything all sorted. I want to be able to just have a backlog, and I'm working on building said backlog right now, actually. That's the point of these. That way I can have a day to edit a video, work on some other stuff, watch statues creepily walk towards me when I'm not moving or when I'm not watching them. Turn around and they freeze. Oh no, it's still moving. The Weeping Angels are coming, guys. I'm actually not a big Doctor Who fan. I only know about the Weeping Angels and a few other miscellaneous things. But I mean, who doesn't know about Weeping Angels? Let's be honest now. I'm expecting a spell to come flying at me any minute now. Come on down. There we go. A little chip damage through the shield. Gotta love the sides. Not a bad start. Their damage overall is kind of garbage, but their range is fantastic, their speed is pretty damn good, and they go through shields. Not a lot, but enough. Enough to make people panic a little bit and wonder why. So, overall, I'm a bit fond of them this time around. They're not as difficult to use as they were in Dark Souls 2, but they're not as damaging as they were in Dark Souls 2. I don't know which I prefer, having the ease of use moveset-wise or the damage. It's a tough choice, it's a tough call. That said, you know, they really don't compare. That's really the way that it is. They do not compare to each other. And that's fine. Don't get me wrong, that's perfectly acceptable. And don't get me wrong, their damage isn't bad. Not even a champion's charge. I tried to roll on that. I apparently pressed roll too late. Okay, never mind the fact that you were not facing me at the start of that. No, not gonna come in on that. They're good for running people down too, in case I didn't mention. Like, the damage isn't terrible, like I was saying. It's just not as good as it was in Dark Souls 1 or Dark Souls 2. And that's fine. It makes up for it in other ways. In a way, I'm actually happy that guy failed to summon, because he had some crazy, weird-looking things going on. Belmont. If he's not using Whip, I will be disappointed in him. Throwing it out there. Just saying. So, this time, we are using, in fact, the Great Scythe, as you guys know, and the Claws. I'm a little worried about using the Claws, in all honesty. Simply due to their attack rating. Yes, they're nice and fast, and that's all well and good, but I am still concerned. That said, I'm actually very curious about what happens if you put them in your offhand and then two-hand them. Can I still parry? No, I cannot. And that's what I was curious about. If you retained your parry or if your parry, rather, if you retained the parry on the L2 and your skill would move to your R2. I was wondering if it would flip around like that, because that would be really cool if it did. Like, I would be about that. I would very much welcome that sort of style in my life. Having the option to dual wield, in a way, have the ability to parry still, and have access to my skill. That's not infinitely stunning anymore. No, you're not going to come in on that for me? He tried to be fancy, and for whatever reason he turned while he was doing his L2 spinny thing, and that let my R1 that I had pressed, like, way before it cued my R1, and then it turned it into a backstab. That was not an intentional move on my part, even though it looked really cool and looked somewhat intentional. That was in no way planned. I'm okay with the way it ended, do not get me wrong, but that was in no way planned. So one thing I do like about this weapon is after you hit someone, if they roll away, you actually have the timing to hit them again. It's pretty nice. You've got the timing and proper distancing for it with a regular R1. So it works very well. Lets you build up damage pretty easily. I'm a little disappointed with its bleeding ability. It's not overly great. That said, I am going to try buffing it with bleed on the next person who buffs against me, just to see if we can get a bleed out. I feel like that would be a nice thing to have. And I will be, of course, using it on the claws, because they need all the help they can get, I'm assuming. I've used them briefly. They are okay. It still is a little bit rough with them, though. Hi, friend. Okay, cute R1, or rather L1? L2, parrying. How's it work? Eh? That damage, though. Get it? Aww. So close. Yes. Yes. Clutch win. Scythes and I have always gotten along well. I never really used them much in Dark Souls 1 just because they were a little excessively powerful. But Dark Souls 2 is really where I started to main them and got good with my timing and such on them. It's a different moveset this time around. It's a lot easier to hit with their moveset this time around. They're just lacking in damage in a lot of cases. You can still get good hits, don't get me wrong. I've said it before, you can still do some damn good damage. But they are more difficult, in my opinion, because of it. But, on the other hand, I don't know. I don't know which I like more. Like I said, I still have not determined it. I know I'm repeating myself. Something about being near that wall. Game doesn't like it. Jeez. Oh, the delay on that and the Hornet Ring. That's one thing I hate about the Cestus. I've always said it. I say it every single time. I swear that I do. But the delay on that. A loss that I feel like I didn't deserve. Again. Shocking. I know. And yes, some of you are going to say salty. Again. Like you always do. And yes, you'll say that I was outplayed. And sure, I was. But it's just bad. It doesn't even come close to matching up. It doesn't even come close to matching up with when my swing went through after his parry did. It was a good, easily half a second to a second late. And yes, latency can be a factor in that. But that doesn't happen with other weapons, other shields rather. It doesn't happen with anything else used for parrying. It's not that much of a delay. It's just with the Cestus. Meh. I bitch about it every time. I know some of you are tired of hearing it. But it's stupid. It's stupid. I can't stand it. It's just one thing in this game that irks me so much. Of all the things, the Dark Swords, the S-Stocks, I can handle that. But the Cestus being so stupidly good at parrying and having such long-lasting parry frames just kills me. Literally. In the game. No? You're not going to do a second poke? Okay.
I'm sorry.
Unintentional. Come on, keep fighting. I healed up, you healed up. Don't worry about it too much. Good use of perseverance. Good use of the jump attack. Good bait. 10 out of 10. You win the fight. Come on, man. I knew he was going to go for that, but he won the fight earlier on. I had already lost, and that's perfectly fine. I'm okay throwing that. It was pretty predictable that he was going to go for the turnaround jump attack, because that's the only thing that makes sense to do at that point in time, and it's something that I like to do. It's a good strat, it's the proper strat, and people who don't know what's coming will go for the parry. I went for the parry because I knew he was going for it. In the off chance he was going for a regular R1 at that point in time, I would have had the parry and I would have left it. I would have just let it hang because he did that to me, and it's only fair. I returned the favor. And yes, he healed. I'm not salty about it. He actually just added me to his friends list. His little icon is a picture of a jar of mayo, for the record. But yeah, that's the thing. I wonder if he knows that I'm the real me. We will find out later down the line. And well, maybe I'll accept that friend request. I did enjoy the fight. It was quite good. Don't see many people using the halberd or the mace for the record. So, yeah. Wouldn't mind getting a few more fights in with that. Oh god. It's doing the Ring Man. Your moonwalking skills are most impressive. Impressive. Most impressive. But you are not a Jedi yet. Okay, that's better. Jeez. I'll save the embers. 1. Yourself. Wow. These people are lonely. 1, the loneliest number, and then a dude named yourself. That's... Yeah, about that. And it is the 15-minute mark. We will switch over to the claws now and begin our wonderful losing streak. We lost 1 fight with the Great Scythe. That's a weapon people generally look down upon as being horribly bad and a guaranteed way to lose. Like, I've had people in the comments saying that they can't make it work, they can't figure it out, they can't do anything with it. It's all in how you use it. Hi, friend. I appreciate that you're not lagging. That's how you claws. Shield stun kept me from rolling around him. It was a good use of the spear. Ooh, good charged attack. And I deserve that. He pulled out a long weapon against my short range weapon. Really, that's not a shock that I lost it because of that. I am surprised, however, that the shield stun prevented me from rolling to the side. I should have rolled backwards either way, because I still would have been in the AoE, but he wouldn't have got me with the spear and the explosion. Still, that shield stun though. That said, we had a fair bit of damage on the initial startup of that. It was a rolling... What was that exactly? Was it a rolling attack, then 1-2 punch, or... I don't know exactly what I did, but it was a good little combo. I need to figure that out. Oh no. Oh no. You are disgusting, sir. Ew, you're buffing too. Ew, get out of here with that. Ew. This is sad that this is actually working because it beats his strategy. Oh my god, that shouldn't have worked. That should not have worked at all. Wow. I'm sorry, I need a few seconds after that. Oh my god. How'd be a turtle 101. Throw on something that bleeds and make them panic. Oh my god, that shouldn't have worked at all. That was beautiful. That was beautiful, guys. Wow. Wow. And I like how he put his shield down at some points, because you could tell that's when he was getting low on stamina. Because stamina with this thing, you can spam the hell out of it, as you guys saw. So that must have been doing a fair bit to break his guard. Interesting. So if I put on the Night Slayer's ring, I lose a little bit of health. But against people who are blocking... Hey, an Executioner's Greatsword. Wonder if I had an influence on that. Probably not, but... death. There's death. Yeah, claws need the bleed buff. They really do. That's kind of an almost essential thing for them to be really successful. I still can't believe I won against that Great Shield guy, though. Like, that was just too good. That was just too good. He just stood there and took it. He just stood there and took it the entire time. Like, I haven't gotten over that yet. I need to figure out some guaranteed combos with this thing, though. That's really where I'm struggling. Because, yes, the L2... I think it was an L2 into an R2, and then another L2 that I had. I don't know. I'll have to look back on the video and see what did that. He possibly was out of the stun after the initial L2, but my other attack got in too quick when he was trying to stand and tank through and get attack to throw me off. That is a very likely possibility. Which in that case, if that worked, then another L2 would have worked just the same. Hard to say. You're using a longsword, though. Straight sword of some kind or another. So I'll need to be cautious. Oh, I was in position for the backstab, but it didn't do the backstab. That's so sad. I swear, I thought I was there. I thought I was right on it. I shouldn't have assumed. My own fault right there. Not a bad fight on my part. Shame there was no bleed. I hit him a fair number of times. Again, the bleed buff is kind of necessary. I just feel bad buffing against people, you know? Like, that's not my thing. That's not what I like to do. I mean, it's necessary for me to start winning fights in a way, but it doesn't mean I don't, you know, feel bad about it. It doesn't mean I enjoy doing it. I do like, in a way, how they've got the rolling attacks like Dark Souls 1 style. And I do like the rolling double slash. That is pretty spiffy. I should use the buff more. I really should. But like I said, I feel bad using it. Like, I don't like to do it unless they're using something that really requires me to use it. Like, absolutely requires it. And I'm doing fairly decent without it. Like, I'm getting people lower on their health than I have any right to really do. What's with people's legs not loading in? You're using Yorms, are you gonna buff? You're using a Cestus, ew. Damn. Come on. There's out of range, haha. Yeah, I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked at all. A weapon with a massive amount of hyper armor, some damn good range, a good quick skill, And yeah, that's really about all that you need. You don't even need all that to beat a guy who's using claws. It's really not hard. Don't get confused. I'm not being salty about that. It's just he got me good. That's to be expected. Like, that's all I'm getting at. Like, I'm using claws, you should be expecting me to lose. I'm not buffing. I'm still shocked that I'm doing as decently as I am. Shame that I missed a couple parries in that fight, but hey, I still wouldn't have won anyway. I don't have the ability to bleed people, and that's the thing. I'm not a luck build. Like, if I had some extra luck in there, that might make a difference. Might make a considerable difference. If I had the bleed infusion on them, that would also make a considerable difference. It's not like my damage could get much worse on them after all. So that could be a very well worthwhile thing to do. It's just I don't want to do it. It's a matter of me not wanting to do it. Hi, friend. Dual katanas. Buffing. I'll bleed buff as well. Oh yeah, that grand total of just over 400 damage. This is why you need the bleed buff. Hello, range. I'll just stand still instead of parrying when I've got almost full stamina. That's cool. Come on. There's the double. I was looking for the trade. I needed that trade. That's why I use the buff, though. Like, that is the reason right there. Because it makes the difference between bleeding someone and not. And if you can bleed someone, you can get a lot of extra damage on them. Enough extra damage on them to where it's a more reasonable thing to win. It makes it easier. It makes it manageable. It still is a challenge, don't get me wrong. Claws are very, very difficult to use for me in this game. I don't have much damage on them, I don't bleed easily with them, but they're fun to use. Ew. Ew. Ooh, hello extra range on that final poke. No. Oh, that was a good parry. The Hornet Ring, though, is that really necessary? I mean, I'm not shocked. Everyone always uses the Hornet Ring. Why would they not? But that was a good parry, I will give him that. I don't like the fact that he was using thrusting swords, because thrusting swords, again, are always stupid difficult to deal with. But at least it wasn't an S stock. I will also give him that. I think that was actually just a standard rapier. It didn't look like it was Ricard's, but he had a stance with it. And the standard rapier does have stance, so makes sense. We're good. Everything is good with the world. Let's get one more fight. And we will call things after that. Win, lose, or draw. I will buff on this fight. Still, I actually, despite the way he, despite the fact that he was using thrusting swords and had the Hornet Ring on, it was a good fight. He would have had me with the kill without the Hornet Ring, so I'm not overly salty or anything about that. It was a great parry that he got, so props to him for that. And it was a relatively unique way of using thrusting swords as well. Using 2 of them, haven't seen anyone do that before. And then going for the bleed focus. Again, something that I have not had the pleasure of experiencing in this game. So, perfectly fine by me. It was unique. I summoned you because you were holding a greatsword. You switch over to a katana. I deserve that. I thought that I might stun him. I don't know what gave me the idea that I might possibly stun him, but I thought that I might stun him for some incredibly stupid reason. Like, what possessed me to think that that was a good idea in any way? I have no clue, but oh well, these things happen. Either way, not a bad fight. Not a bad fight. I fell for that hook, line, and sinker. I, again, don't know why I thought it was a good idea. Stupid me. Stupid me. I do like the claws, though. I do want to practice with them more. I will use them more often. We might get another episode down the line where I use them with something else that causes bleed. Katana, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We will find out later down the line. Possibly the notched whip, once I get an upgraded one. Now there's a thought. Either way, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this one, and I will see you all next time.